All right, y'all. Can we cut that intro short? Just a little piece. I always like to give respect to our supporting members of this channel. Thank you all for your continued support. You keep us rocking and rolling. But we got to get on to this story here today, y'all. We got to get on to some things so I can get in your way and out your way. Our sister Urban Southern Cookie is in the building. Thank you, sis, for being here. Y'all, it is 1:02 p.m. on the West Coast. And I thank y'all for hanging out with me on this Friday. TGIF, y'all, you made it through the week. I hope everyone is blessed on this Friday. I hope everyone is getting set up for a Super Bowl weekend that is going to be like none other that I can remember in my lifetime. Is Sammy Lee in the building? Yo, Sammy, thank you for being here. Susan Harris in the building. We appreciate each and every one of you all for your support. Y'all, I just wanted to come on for a few minutes today. I won't be before you long, but I did want to spend some time in my afternoon and tap in with y'all. See what everybody got going on. Rochelle Love is in the building. Thank you for being here and for your support. Let me get this off the screen. I apologize, y'all, but we do love and appreciate our supporting members of this channel. Y'all, there's some things going on in this political space, this political sphere, and I've been kind of caught up in it. Let me just be candid with y'all for just a second. I am faced with some deadlines. They are in my face, y'all, like this. I got some deadlines in my face, and it is only my fault. I have nobody to blame but myself, but I have been so caught up in this political whirlwind since January 20th, y'all. This is week number 3 of Donald Trump 2.0 and his presidency and administration. I don't know if we can call it an administration because he's still trying to get some people confirmed in the Senate, and the Democrats are fighting him every step of the way. He ain't even got his cabinet yet, y'all. But he has created such a political whirlwind for nerds like me who follow things like this that I have been caught up since January 20th. And I got some other things I got to do. Y'all who have followed me for some time know I got some pressing projects that I'm trying to bring through to fruition in this month. So needless to say, I'm behind schedule because I've been wrapped up in politics. Even before I got on live, y'all, I just finished watching Donald Trump in a press conference with the Prime Minister of Japan. I don't know why I follow this the way I do. I don't know why I sat in those classes and read those books and took those tests and got a degree in it. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. Can't explain it. But it is who I am, and it is who I present to you authentically and genuinely. And I'm glad that y'all take the time to rock out with me from time to time. But it seems like this Prime Minister, at least by the use of his extensive use of his translator, maybe he doesn't speak English that well. And I know that in the previous administration, Donald Trump formed a true friendship, a true relationship with Shinzo Abe. the former prime minister of Japan. They were good friends. I don't know. Listen, I didn't dig too deep into it, so I don't know how they became such friends. I don't know how that relationship became so close. But I did admire it because Donald Trump spoke lovingly of Shinzo from time to time, and you would hear him speak in public settings, and you say he really likes Shinzo. There's really something there. This is not just political speak. This is not just propaganda. He really digs this man. I don't know how they formed that relationship, but if you follow politics, you know that when Shinzo's political career ended, he got to speaking out publicly about certain things that concerned him, certain things he was interested in, and he was unalived, y'all, right there in the streets of Japan. And you can search the video. I saw it live, and I said, wow. This was Donald Trump's homeboy, and Donald Trump came out and he spoke on it publicly. And you have to understand that if Donald Trump can see his homeboy get smoked, another leader of another country that he had connected to, had an actual friendship with, if he can see that man get smoked, he has to take his own threats seriously. So I believe that Donald Trump is not unaware of the threats. And I mean, how can you be unaware when that thing whizzed past your head and clipped your ear and you're bleeding profusely? How can you be unaware of what's going on? I think he knows exactly what his situation is, what his circumstance is. And I think, y'all, this is just me talking. And I thank y'all for being here. I'm glad y'all are rocking out with me on this Friday. I think Donald Trump wants to be known as the greatest president in history. You hear him talk a lot about Abe Lincoln. You hear him talk a lot about Ronald Reagan. These are presidents who have made a mark in history. Susan Harris, thank you for being here. Says RIP Prime Minister Abe, respect. Thank you for saying that. Thank you for dropping that in the chat. Brenda Henderson is in the house. Thank you for being here. We appreciate all of y'all for rocking out on this Friday afternoon. We just gonna go through a couple things that I bookmarked for y'all. I'll be active on the X platform. So I saw a couple things. And I made a couple of videos this week. You can go back and check the record. You'll see we did a couple of videos on the USAID scandal that has dropped. And we see that Elon Musk, Melody C in the building. Blessings to you, Melody. Thank you for being here. Elon Musk, y'all, and DOGE have uncovered some things. Some things that have gone astray, some things that have gone awry in our government with our tax dollars, disguised, shielded, cloaked, if you will, by a government organization, USAID. And I hear a lot of people out there saying it, pronouncing it as USAID. Well, that is deceptive. It's deceptive in that it would give you the impression that the United States government was aiding other countries on an international level. We were giving aid to other countries, and that makes you feel good. You like to feel like your tax dollars are going towards aiding other countries in need, because if you understand like I understand, and you respect that American flag, you know that there are countries in this world who are not as blessed as America. And even though we come out and we say, yeah, we don't like illegal immigration, we need you to come into this country the right way, this, that, the third, blah, blah, blah. We talk all of that talk, and yet, y'all, we understand that there are some countries that don't even have indoor plumbing, that don't even have refrigeration, that struggle in a different way for survival, a way that you have never known in your lifetime. You are blessed to be in this country. We understand the blessings. So that when we see Happy Mac in the building, thank you for being here. Happy Friday, Happy Mac. So when we see y'all that our tax dollars are being mishandled, being misspent, it makes us feel a certain kind of way. I don't know if you feel exactly the way I feel, but I've gone through X this morning and just gathered a couple things because I want you to get some perspective. You ain't got to feel like I feel the way you feel, because your feeling is based on your socialization. Your feeling is based on your lived experience, and I ain't discounting that at all. But I need you to understand, and I need you to see the truth. Well, the truth is coming to light. And I think it's a beautiful thing, whether you like it or not. BR, thank you for being here, says insane, despicable, disrespectful to all American citizens, our country and nation. Thank you, Elon. Teamwork. And foremost, our president. God bless them all. Oh, sorry. God bless them and us all. Blessings to you as well. Thank you, BR. Haven't seen you in the chat before. Thank you for being here. Thank you for rocking out with us on this Friday. Y'all, we don't want our money to be misspent, especially at a time like this where we are $36 trillion in debt. And I know it's hard to even wrap your mind around it, y'all, but just think in your own life. $36 trillion in debt. Apply that to your own life and imagine what that might look like. Credit cards maxed out, over the limit, every last one of them. Just, you can't even get control of it. It's just out of control. Your electric bill, your gas bill, all overdue. Your car note, overdue. Your insurance lapsed. They about to cancel it. You're hiding the car behind other parked cars so Repo Rick can't come and get it. You lock it up in the garage so it can't get repoed. Y'all, you're so deep in debt you can't find your way out. Well, that's what America is in right now. That's the condition that we are in. That's the circumstance that we are under. $36 trillion in debt. And here we come to find out, y'all. See, Donald Trump missed the stuff the first time in Donald Trump 1.0 because they were hiding these things from him. He wasn't so much aware with the let me get myself together. Let me slow down. He wasn't so much aware of the swamp that he would know where to look. So they were just hiding things in different places, stashing things in different places where they knew he wouldn't look. Well, y'all, this time he got a man named Elon who is attached to his hip. They call him the first buddy, is what they call him. He's the first friend. And this man is coming through and he's saying, hey, I can use AI tools. I can use artificial intelligence and we can crawl through. We can write programs. We got programmers here that can write programs that crawl through these departments. Find all of this waste, fraud, and abuse and expose it to the world, because we all know sunlight is the best disinfectant. Yo, I'm struggling on this Friday. Sunlight is the best disinfectant, so let's shine a light on this and expose it to the American people so they can understand that we are $36 trillion in debt, partially because people who are there running our government don't have our government's best interest at heart. At least don't have the citizens of this country's best interest at heart. Y'all, can I say it how I feel it? They punking our money off. Not only that, but they setting up shadow programs that are boomerang programs, if you will, where they can send money across the ocean, across the sea. They can send money overseas and somehow, like a boomerang, y'all, that money just comes right on back to Washington, D.C. and blesses somebody. Blesses some political organizations, blesses some politicians, blesses some federal employees. Tanya Payne in the building, thank you for being here. Luke C., Reginald Halstead, let me get through it. Stanley, Renee, thank you all for being here and rocking out. We've all known it, y'all. We've all seen it. We've all felt it. And I'm going to get into this video so we can get to rocking out, and I ain't going to be before you long, but there's one thing I need you to understand that has been uncovered in this USAID scandal. And it is nothing short of a scandal. But don't call it USAID. I hear people saying that, and that just rubs me the wrong way. It is the U.S. Agency for International Development. It ain't got nothing to do with aid. in the way you might think of it. Y'all, we got Boaz in the chat. For all y'all women folk out there waiting on Boaz, oh, he's in the chat. Boaz is here today. Somebody gonna get delivered because Boaz has arrived. Thank you for being here. Thank you for rocking out. Reginald Halstead in the building. The thing that has really grinded my gears on this entire story, y'all, and we're going to get to the content so we can really get into it. Because I need y'all to see it. I don't need y'all to hear it from me. I need you to see it with your own eyes, hear it with your own ears. You ain't got to believe me. You got some politicians out there in Washington, D.C. that are exposing some things. You got Elon Musk out there who are exposing some things. I need you to see it. But the thing that has gotten me, y'all, because I'm out here doing this work in the community. Susan Harris says, Ruth, she know the word. Thank you, Susan. She know the word, y'all. Tanya Payne says, the truth always comes to light. Y'all, the thing that has gotten me is that I have been, now look, I don't want to get distracted, but I'm new to this format, and as far as coming to y'all and speaking my truth in front of a camera. Yes, I've been on this platform for about 18 years or so. But in this capacity where I get up and cam up and talk to y'all like this, only been a little over 2 years. And in that 2 years, Meenakshi is here in the building. Muraladar, Meenakshi Muraladar. I hope I got that right. Says, yes, brother, the abuse of the corrupt, evil, crazy, power, greedy, lawless, demon, felons, communists, full corruption are being exposed. Thank you for putting that in the chat. Appreciate your support. Y'all, the thing that gets me in the just a couple of years that I've been talking to y'all, we have been out here. And I'm in California, y'all, so understand where I'm coming from. We have been fighting these purple hair, pink hair, blue haired teachers. We have been fighting their messages. We have been trying to come against them. We have been praying, y'all. And they have been, it has felt like we have been overwhelmed. It has felt like what we were up against was insurmountable. Felt like at sometimes we were fighting a losing battle because their messaging was so strong, and we would get before y'all and we would pray. We would say, y'all, this is the scripture of the day. Y'all go check this out. Y'all go research this, figure it out for yourself, apply it to your own life, this, that, and the third. I would get on here. I'd tell y'all about them color-haired teachers because I'd have to go deal with them. I got a son who is in the 12th grade. He's a senior in high school. I still got one in the system. So we still got to deal with issues for a few more months here. So I felt y'all on a visceral, spiritual level. And I would come before you on this channel and say, hey, this is what we up against. Y'all, the battle seems insurmountable. The battle, the enemy seems so strong. Well, here we are, y'all. Only because of Donald Trump 2.0 and Elon Musk and DOGE are we finding out now that some of these messages from Politico, USA Today, and New York Times, some of these messages were funded by the government. How are we paying taxes that are funding media organizations that are putting out messages that are against what we believe? Y'all, we are paying for our own demise. They are using, these criminals are using our tax dollars against us. How can a government be so corrupt? How can a government be so evil that they would take our money that we are forced to pay? Y'all already understand. They hired, under Democrat Congress, they hired 87,000 IRS agents. They said, oh yeah, we only going after the rich, but it turns out, no, they was coming after your Cash Apps. They was coming after your Venmos. They was coming after your PayPals. They were coming after you. They lied to you. Not only about that, they lied to you about everything. And they've been funding things in the US government that I'm sure you wouldn't agree with. Not in my audience. If you agreed with what they've been doing, Wendolyn, thank you so much. Said, Lord heard your prayers. Our prayers are being answered and are saving this country. I believe it, Wendolyn. I believe it. And I also believe, Wendolyn, that had Donald Trump lost this election, Cole M in the house, thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting. Deborah Metcalf, thank you for being here. Shawnee Wright Chick, thank you for being here. Grandma Lynn in the building. Y'all, we got a full house. Let's go, y'all. Let's rock out today. I fully believe, Wendolyn, had we lost this election, and when I say we, I mean America, those who are proud of this country, those who have helped build this country, those who want this country to succeed. Because I can't imagine how you could be a citizen of this country and want it to fail. That just don't make sense to me. How could you be a citizen of America and say, yeah, I'm riding on this ship, but I want it to sink? Just doesn't make sense to me. But here we are, y'all, in a circumstance where our tax dollars have been misappropriated, misused by a corrupt government. And it is only just now. And look, this is the thing. I need to get this out because I don't want to miss. If I keep going, y'all, if you let me ramble, I'm going to skip over it. But we have fought on this channel, and there are plenty of other people on platforms like this who have made statements like mine, who have been fighting against this, who thought we were up against insurmountable opposition. We get on here, we speak the truth, we try to connect with people like y'all who are like-minded individuals. We try to create communities of people who are like-minded, who can push the message out, push it forward. All the while knowing, seem like we can't win. Seem like we losing. We don't talk about it much on platforms like this, but it seemed like from time to time you just get beat down and say, Lord. And see, look, people, here I go, off on a tangent again, y'all know how I do. But we get in a mood, y'all, and say, people criticize me often on this platform. I don't talk about it much, but I take incoming hate every day, right? People say certain things about my presentation. They question everything from my message to my appearance. AJ Droddy in the building, thank you for being here. Beauty from our Lord's estate, thank you for being here. Y'all, I get clowned every day, and you just have to develop thick skin. But one thing that gets to me, one of the criticisms that I face on this channel is that people say, hey, why don't you pray? Why don't you get online and pray? Well, I face so much criticism on this channel. My presentation on this channel is such that I like to keep it real with y'all. I like to keep it 100. But there's some things I'm just not going to expose to y'all. For example, I like to keep it PG on this channel. I like to keep it a family-friendly show. Y'all ain't never heard me cuss on here. I'm like, I wouldn't dare. But I feel like if the word is in the Bible, it's free game. But listen, y'all may not have heard me say certain words, but God has. And you ain't God. So I need you to understand that. Understand where I'm coming from. Feel me, y'all, as I present my heart to you. You ain't heard me say certain things, but God has, because I believe in being hunted with God. I believe in being authentic with God. And if I feel it, well, I'm going to give it to God like I feel it. And God going to give it right back to me. It's just the way it is. Yeah, we lost one. Shimmy, I can't even pronounce that. Chorch. Feel how you feel. We wish you the best. We pray God's blessing upon your life, upon your circle, upon everything you touch. Maybe this ain't the life for you. Maybe this is not the community for you, but understand something, y'all. We keep it real here. And not only are we strong in faith, but we are strong in knowing that we got to operate here on earth before we get to the afterlife. Yes, we are spiritual beings inhabiting physical bodies. That's just what we believe. That's just what I was taught. A lot of people get it mixed up and they say, hey, I'm here and I'm human and I'm tapping into the spiritual. No, you got it bass-ackwards. You are a spiritual being tapping into humanity, and you must do certain things to survive and live a certain way here on earth. And that's what we try to tap into. So y'all, I probably over-talked it, but I want you to understand where I'm coming from. I want you to feel my heart and know that when I come before you, especially in a situation like this where I'm live, yo, I'm an introvert. I don't do this. Sometimes my wife be looking at me sideways like, bro, really? Yeah, babe. That's what God put on my heart today. I cammed up and I said what I was feeling, and I hope the people heard me. I hope the community heard me. I hope God heard me at the end of the day. Y'all, I came across a couple clips. I'm going to leave that alone. I just need y'all to understand how I feel about getting on this internet, expending all this energy for over a year, being caught up in the election cycle, getting on here teaching and talking and preaching against those. Y'all, Bernie Miranda is in the building. I feel better now. She said no notification. Hey, Bernie, I ain't even mad, Bernie. You here. That's all I care about, Bernie. Y'all know I rock hard with Bernie. She here. We talked about the issues that we were going through in the community. We talked about the obstacles that we were facing. We talked about the struggles in getting our message out. So to come to this point, only 3 weeks in to the new administration, and find out that the government was funding the opposition, as we hear, paying taxes. We are funding our own demise. They're killing our message. We're not just trying to make America great again. We're trying to make the kids great again. And we understand that the next generation is the future. And in order for the future to be better, we got to sow some seeds into this fertile ground that is our youth. We've been trying to push it. And here we are faced with opposition from our own government who's been funding it. Messages that are telling our kids things that are antithetical to their progress, even in this capitalist society. They want our children to lose. Not only do they want them to lose, they using our tax dollars to fund an antithetical message. Yo. So when we out here and we talk in a certain way and it feel like we can't win, bruh, you can't win because you sitting up funding your own demise. I know you may not understand what's going on. You may not understand the technicalities of government, but just imagine if you paid your taxes all the time on time, and your government took your tax dollars and used your own money to fight against things that you believed in.
Okay, listen up.
Now, Mr. Musk started with the USAID. That handles a lot of foreign aid for America. American people are very generous. But I'll tell you what Mr. Musk discovered. I find it fascinating. He discovered that the American taxpayers are giving money to Afghanistan. He found that we are giving money to Yemen. He found that we are giving money to Syria. I didn't know that. Some of our foreign aid is going to Yemen, Afghanistan, Syria. He found that the USAID has 10,000 people, 10,000 people, employees. And every year they give away $40 billion. He found that the USAID gave money to support electric vehicles in Vietnam. Our money, taxpayer money. He found that USAID gave money to a transgender clinic in India. I didn't know that. I bet you the American people didn't know that. He found that USAID gave $1.5 million to a Serbian LGBTQ group called Grupa Izadaji. I probably mispronounced that. My apologies. Anyway, they got $1.5 million to, quote, advance diversity, equity, and inclusion in Serbia's workplaces and business community. He reviewed a study and then went and checked it. The study was done by the Middle East Forum. They found that USAID spent $164 million to support radical organizations around the world. We're not talking Cub Scout troops here. We're talking about radical organizations around the world. They gave $122 million of that to groups aligned with foreign terrorist organizations. Our taxpayer money. According to this report in Mr. Musk, the USAID has given millions of dollars to, quote, organizations in Gaza controlled by Hamas. Why aren't my colleagues talking about that? Recipients of the money, they found, have, quote, called for their lands to be cleansed from the impurity of Jews. That's what we're giving foreign aid to. I kind of find what he's found out interesting. He found that we gave $2 million, USAID did, for sex changes in Guatemala. He found that we gave $20 million to produce a new Sesame Street show in Iraq. He found that we gave $4.5 million of taxpayer money to combat disinformation in Kazakhstan. He found that we gave $10 million, USAID did, of meals to an al-Qaeda-linked terrorist group called the Nusra Front. Mr. Musk found that we gave $7.9 million of taxpayer money to a project that would teach Sri Lankan journalists to avoid binary gendered language. The USAID took $8 million and gave it to a bunch of journalists in Sri Lanka to teach them how to avoid binary gendered language. I don't know what the hell binary gendered language is. I think I do. You think most taxpayers would support that? Why are we talking about that? The USAID gave $1.5 million to promote LGBT advocacy in Jamaica. They gave $1.5 million to rebuild the Cuban media ecosystem. They gave $1.5 million for, quote, art for inclusion of people with disabilities in Belarus. Another $3.9 million for LGBT causes in Macedonia. $8.3 million for equity and inclusion education in Nepal. I could go all night. And many of my colleagues are upset. They're really mad at Mr. Musk. Hell, I think we ought to give him a medal.
He said, I think we ought to give him a medal. I appreciate what he got going on. And I'm here in government. Yeah, we like Senator Kennedy. He's always funny. He's always candid. But in this instance, y'all, I feel like he's saying what we all are feeling in this moment. And you get a lot of politicians who talk a good bit. Y'all, I followed this thing for a long time. I can spot them. You get politicians who talk a good bit and then they go back like a Lindsey Graham. Mother Lindsey. They get out here and they scream a lot and they talk a lot, but when they get back to DC, they ain't worth nothing. They don't mean the best for America. They don't have our best interest at heart. But did you get an idea of what America has been doing with your money? Because, y'all, it's your money. And I need you to see it that way. I don't need you to get it twisted and misunderstand what is going on here. America is punking off your tax dollars. Has been. Hopefully, we are hopeful, we are prayerful that a change is coming, that a change is here. That these R's might bring a change to American government. But we understand, y'all, the R is just the right side of the same bird. It's just the other side of the same coin. But understand something that is different this time. Donald Trump is in his second administration. He has had 4 years. He knew he got robbed in the 2020 election. We couldn't even say that for y'all. I couldn't even cam up and say that to you for years on this platform. They would have cut me off. I would have lost my channel. So at least we're free to say that on them folks' platform today. But Donald Trump has had 4 years to stew on that thing, to study that thing, to watch that thing, and let it bubble up in his spirit, y'all, such that he hit the ground running. He ain't had to rev nothing up. He ain't had to prime the pump. Some of y'all old school enough to know what I'm talking about. He ain't had to do none of that. Donald Trump got in there and hit the ground running because he was prepared for the moment. He's been studying the situation from a distance, from afar. And once he found out he got elected, y'all, we rocked out on election night on this channel. Appreciate my sister Rochelle Love who rocked out with me. Y'all, we rocked out for 9 hours on election night. I wanted to tap out. I was done, y'all. Rochelle was like, nope, stay on. I said, I can't let my sister go harder than me. We rocked out that night. And ever since that night, Donald Trump has been laser focused on what he was going to do to fix these things. Some things he promised in the first administration that did not come to fruition because he had enemies within the swamp, enemies within the government who were simply hiding things from him. They say, oh yeah, Mr. President, we done got everybody out of this country. No, we still got 2,500, 3,500 people there. But if we lie to the president, should be okay. That's where we got people who need to be court-martialed. General Milley. You got you a preemptive pardon, General Milley. You got a preemptive pardon, Senator Adam Schiff. And y'all know, shift is shift. I come from California, so we looking and we scratching our heads and we wondering, how can a state be so corrupt that a man who has been censured by Congress, a man who has lied to America for years, can find himself being elevated, being promoted, in fact, from a congressman to a senator, and now he want to get out and be so indignant to Donald Trump's nominees as if he is without blemish. No, sir, you got plenty of blemishes on your record. We know what they are. Some people are bringing them to light. And I hope that you are investigated for being a sitting senator with a preemptive pardon. Yeah, y'all, listen, they're not going to tell you this, but in California, there are some things going on. And people feel a certain kind of way about old Shifty Schiff. Look at this, y'all. Sorry if that blew your ears out, because it definitely did mine. But these are some of the things that have been going forward. And I'm just putting it here on the record so y'all can see it. You can go back and slow it down later and see what your government has been doing through USAID. funneling your tax dollars all over the world. Yo, Donald Trump said it the other day in a press conference. He said, yeah, I see all this money going around, this and that. But what I really wonder about is the kickback. And I'm like, yes, Mr. President, I agree with you 110%. Because people aren't just throwing the money around because they are so committed to certain ideologies. No, they throwing money around because somehow or another, some way or another, that money come back around. That's how you see so many people who, Bree C in the building. Thank you for being here, supporting member of the channel. We see you, Bree. That's how so many people in Congress, so many people in the Senate, so many legislators who only get about what, $175,000, $180,000 a year. I don't know what it is now because they always voting themselves raises. But whatever it is, it ain't enough to sit up like a Nancy Pelosi, like a Chuck Schumer, and be sitting on millions upon millions of dollars, dozens of millions, based on a public service salary. But here we are, forced to deal with it. Here we are, forced to deal with people in position who are somehow enriching themselves off of our tax dollars. And heretofore, we couldn't figure out what it was. We couldn't figure out the conduit. We couldn't figure out the pathway. We said, we know they cheating us, right? We know they doing us wrong. We know they doing us dirty, but we can't figure out what's going on, how they're achieving it. Well, thank God in heaven. Thank Trump 2.0. And thank Elon Musk, the best buddy. We have figured out at least one way. USAID was certainly a conduit that they were using in order to funnel our tax dollars to other situations, other circumstances across the waters. And somebody was getting some kickback from that money. I'm just going to put it out there like that. I just believe until I find something to the contrary that makes me disbelieve. I just believe that somebody somewhere was getting a kickback in that government situation, much like Donald Trump said he believes it.
Headline on Breitbart is Trump freezes millions in USAID funds for foreign media. Foreign media, wow. Triggering globalist outrage. I did see a few liberals and Democrats. They're a little bit scared.
Yeah.
They're annoyed and mean and nasty too.
We talked about it a little bit yesterday on the show. We talked about the fact that Politico was getting paid by USAID and the New York Times were getting paid by USAID. But it's like you scratch the surface and then there's this massive iceberg underneath it. We've only looked at the top of it. So the idea that the U.S. government is funding the foreign media, I mean, it really is. You talk about manufacturing consent. This is what the U.S. government does. It manufactures consent. It pays all the foreign media to say what it wants it to say. And then it tells Americans, look, the BBC is saying it, the Times is saying it, whatever. So go to the next one. There's actually some numbers on this, and this is from the article. American taxpayers are no longer subsidizing foreign media once funded by the U.S. Agency for International Development, prompting left-wing concern for the political impact on global journalism and democracy. Now look at some of these numbers, Dr. Paul. President Donald Trump put a 90-day hold on all USAID's foreign aid this week, which subsequently cut $268 million from media outlets in more than 30 countries, according to the agency's 25 foreign budget reported by Reporters Without Borders. USAID's 2023 fact sheet taken offline due to the hold boasted that the agency supported 6,200 journalists, 707 news outlets, 279 media sector civil society organizations, i.e. NGOs, the Columbia Journalism Review reported. So what does this do, Dr. Paul, overseas with thousands and thousands on the U.S. payroll?
It's similar to the nonsense that was finally exposed was the social media and the government getting together and they cancel people that didn't agree with the COVID.
Yeah, COVID, yeah.
So this is another coalition put together, and that is business people and government, and using these funds to, once again, though, this is similar to COVID, is to affect opinions, and get people upset and get the support they need. And so the neatest thing is happening, and it has to continue, is the exposure.
Well, when we've been talking since 2014, really, about the coup, the Maidan coup in Ukraine, and whenever we point out the involvement of the U.S. government in it, they say, "Oh, you're just using Russian talking points. Oh, you're on Putin's payroll." Well, it actually turns out that the other side is on Uncle Sam's payroll. They're the ones that are on the payroll. They're the ones that have manufactured this misinformation, disinformation about what had happened, and not only there, but elsewhere, everywhere. I mean, Viktor Orban from Hungary, I talked about it yesterday. He put out another post on X Day talking about, the cat's out of the bag now. All of the media in Hungary that was attacking the government is funded by the U.S. government, and it's, wait, we're paying for the BBC? And the question is, how much? Go to the next clip. How much are we paying for the BBC? Well, that blue mark you see up there is USAID. The United States government is the second largest funder, after the UK government, the second largest funder of the BBC. This is incredible. We literally are the second largest donor to the BBC. No wonder they toe the line that Washington wants them to toe.
And there you have it, y'all. Look at that. Our sister Amethyst Angel has entered the building. Thank you, sis, for being here. We appreciate you as usual. Do you see where your money is going, y'all? Where your tax dollars are going? Do you see how corrupt the United States government is? And it reminds me of something. Happy Mac says disgusting. Just a simple word, disgusting. I rock with that. I rock with that sentiment because that's how I feel about it right now. I remember back in the Trump administration the first time. And if you look at the contributions to USAID, they seem to increase exponentially once Donald Trump decided he was going to run for president. Once he came down that golden escalator, look at it. I'll find it in a chart and I'll post it so you can see it. Once he decided and announced that he was going to run for president in 2016, the donations to USAID increased. When that election was stolen in 2020, because they never expected him to win in 2016, y'all. That was Hillary's thing. We have been being fleeced by our government for such a long time. Y'all, I saw a report earlier this morning. I'm not even going to put it in here today because it's not part of what I'm talking about. But y'all, the way Hillary Clinton and the Clinton Foundation fleeced Haiti for that money that was dedicated to Haiti that was supposed to go and fix situations over in Haiti. How are we going to be mad at Haitians when they're coming into America in 2024, 2025, all throughout the Joe Biden administration? They are flooding into America from Haiti. Well, we had designated a certain amount of money to Haiti through the Clinton Foundation. Seems like Haiti never got the money. Seems like it was redirected to Chelsea Clinton and the Clinton Foundation and other conduits that would enrich certain people. Y'all, we have been being fleeced. I need you to understand. That's the whole point of this live today. Because I was so inundated with so much information, and y'all, I absorb this stuff, but sometimes I just got to release it and let it out. I need you to understand that we have been fleeced by our government. We got played by our own government. And those of you who I find in my comments every now and then who tell me, you're so brave for saying this and that and the third, listen, I'm just saying what I feel. If one day I get a knock on my door, then, I just have to deal with it. If the feds come around and saying you've been saying some things that we don't appreciate, we don't agree with it, I just have to deal with it. But this is what God has given me. This is the message that God has given me. And trust me when I tell you, I don't just come up here haphazardly. I pray about it before I speak, and I make sure that what I'm feeling is authentic. Make sure that it's genuine. Make sure that it is the message that God wants to send through me out into these internet airways, because y'all know how this internet is. But so far, I've received although I get dragged every day, I've received so much positive feedback from y'all saying, hey, keep speaking the truth. Okay, well, I'm going to keep doing it, because this is just another conduit, y'all. I'm out here for real, for real. I want to get in your son's ear. I want to tell him to get off the block and get in the classroom. I want to tell him to stop that hustle and get a job. I want to teach so many lessons that sometimes I feel bad about writing the book that I'm currently working on, because I know they ain't going to read it. But God has blessed me in such a way that I can go in many different lanes, and I'm going to do it. And I appreciate y'all support for even rocking out with me on a platform like this. We got to be extra careful, because we know that we own them folks' platform, and we got to say things a certain way. But I hope that y'all will hang. If you're new here, I hope you hang around long enough just to get a vibe for what we present, so that you will understand when certain things are said a certain way, it may not be exactly what you hear. But if you hang around long enough, you'll begin to recognize patterns and understand that we think, slow down. We say things in certain ways because we operate on certain platforms. I hope that is good enough. And I'm going to leave that alone, and we're going to get to it. Susan says, yes, this does take prayer, doing the research, involvement, courage. I don't feel courageous, and I feel weird when people say things like that, because I don't feel courageous at all. I just feel like I'm saying what I feel. I say what God has placed on my heart, and I pray about it quite a bit. And sometimes me and God bang it out. And God beat me over the head and be like, no, no, no. Y'all ever had listen, I got grandkids, y'all. Listen, I have entered another phase of life. Let me get comfortable in my chair. I've entered another phase where you take them grandkids in the store and you got to start all over with them things you used to say to your kids. That A-H-T. I said don't touch it. Sometimes you got to grit your teeth together and talk through your teeth like your mama used to do you, like Big Mama used to do. Don't touch nothing. I have entered a new phase of life. And I appreciate the fact that God does me like that sometimes. I said, oh, I'm 18. I'm grown now. I got a wife and kids. I'm out here doing my own thing. I ain't got to worry about whoopings no more. Listen. Sometimes God will put you over his knee. I don't know how many of y'all have ever felt that, but sometimes God will go get the switch and take it to your hind parts because you need it, because you deserve it. And I've gotten to a point in my life where I say, you know what, God, if you're going to whoop me like that, I must have earned it. You are a loving God. You are a gracious God. You are a forgiving God. If you've given it to me like that, God, I did something to earn it. See, Little Wax, I hope I got that right, says we thank God for Donald Trump and Elon Musk. We do. Because it is shedding light on a situation that many people would not have been able to see but for their exposure. How many of us had access to classified documents at USAID? You didn't have that access. I didn't have that access, of course. So without Donald Trump granting the access to Elon Musk and his young folk to get off in there, those young programmers who have read-only access, they got off in there, they start looking around and say, hey, this doesn't look right. That doesn't look right. Donald Trump just said today, I just saw him an hour or so ago. Said we going off into the military. We're going into the DOD. We're going to look into different departments. We're going to look up under the hood. We're going to find out what's going on. We're going to make corrections. We're going to take corrective action. Well, God bless you, Donald Trump 2.0, Elon Musk. I hope you do what is best for this country. Because it seems like we have gone so far off the rails. Y'all, $36 trillion in debt. I don't know if y'all even understand how bad that is. I don't even know if I can put it into words to help you understand how bad that is. That is insurmountable. Unless you take a different approach like a Donald Trump is taking and saying, hey, we have some areas, some opportunities of revenue over here that we haven't tapped into. We ain't tapped into them because we got these environmentalist tree huggers like we got out here in California that have caused wildfires from Northern California to Southern California. We have some opportunities. We gonna drill, baby, drill. We gonna slang oil around the world like America has never seen before. Well, that may open opportunities for us to get things a little bit under control. I don't know if it's going to get us 36 trillion, y'all, because that's an incredible amount of money based on our GDP record. I don't know if that's going to get us where we need to be, but it's going to make the situation better. And if you've ever been in a situation in your life like I have, a situation of financial struggle in my younger years, way back, being a young father, a young husband, trying to put it together, trying to figure it out. It's hard. It's rough. There's some growing pains. There's some economic pains that you have to endure. But if you can endure, you can put something together and you can come back better, bigger, stronger than you've ever been before. And you will have God's endorsement because you did it the right way. You didn't cheat nobody. You didn't run over nobody. You didn't do the wrong thing. You did it the right way. And you will have God's blessing upon your life and your endeavors. Thank you, Susan Harris, for the 10. Thank you for the support. Says Gerald, thank you. Continued prayers and support. Thank you, Susan. We love you to life. And thank you for supporting what we got going on here. Y'all, we ain't going to be on here too much longer. Just a couple more examples. This one I found interesting, y'all, because so many people look at things like this and they say, people are weird. Yes, people are weird. I'm not denying that at all. People are weird. But just because people are weird, just because certain things come across as comical or funny, doesn't mean they're not authentic. And if you believe in the spiritual, Blue Sky's mom in the building, y'all, I feel a lot better now. Blue Sky's mom is here. Some things that may have come across as funny or inauthentic may be demonic and satanic. I came across this little clip, and there were so many people laughing at it, so many people blowing it off. I said, hey, y'all, don't be so quick to judge this as insignificant, because the devil will come to you in ways that seem insignificant just to let you put your guard. And then you open to that right cross from satanic forces. Y'all, I came across this video and said, wow, look at this.
You will not not be deported. You will not be deported. These are not the migrants you're looking for. These are not the migrants you're looking for. ICE agents explode. ICE agents explode.
Y'all, what was that? Rochelle. Yes, Rochelle. Do not consort with mediums. Yes, Rochelle. Let me put that on the screen so y'all can see. Rochelle out here talking her talk. People take things like this, presentations like this lightly. They laugh at it. They think it ain't about nothing. It's not the way I see it. Just because it may seem unconventional to you, just because you may have been socialized in a certain way, you may have different traditions. You may think this is funny or comical or insignificant. I would advise you not to do that. I would advise you not to feel that way. I would advise you not to blow off things like this because the devil is busy. Even as some folks are trying to make America great again. Some folks don't want America to be great again, and they will use things such as witchcraft and spirituality to wage attacks. And if you are not spiritually aware, if you are not spiritually in shape, if you ain't been hitting the spiritual gym, getting your workout on, maybe you are a little flimsy right now. Tanya Payne, I agree with you, not funny at all. Maybe you're a little weak right now. Maybe you need to go back to the spiritual well and dip your bucket once again if you don't see things like this as being real. If you think this is just funny and hilarious and you're just going to blow it off because it's on the internet. No, y'all. The devil will use conduits that you don't recognize sometimes. May not be familiar to you. I might get on and make you laugh. Might get on and make weird noises. But that's up to you to self-reflect, to get on your knees in prayer and find out, why does that sound weird to you? Why does that sound weird to you? Why does that sound unfamiliar? Yeah, y'all, we support our president. We support our president. But at the same time, we understand that the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. So if you are looking at these things from a carnal eye, there's a good chance that you're getting it wrong, ladies and gentlemen. There's a good chance that you are misinterpreting what is going on here. Yes, I understand we live in a carnal world. But we are fighting a spiritual battle. And I know, listen, I've had so many conversations with people who say, Donald Trump is not even a godly man. I ain't going to preach a sermon here tonight because I'm already on here longer than I thought I would be. But God can use a man who you think is not righteous in order to fulfill his word. Is Donald Trump that man? I'm not going to determine that. I don't even have the power to determine. I'm still praying for the man. But the fact that a man like that, who I followed for some time, read his book, The Art of the Deal, know that this is just a poor little rich kid, knowing that he was pretty much an atheist here to now. The fact that he could say, God spared my life. Well, y'all, that reminds me of them old mothers in church. It just make me hearken back. It just does something to my spirit. Well, somebody said, every knee shall bow. Every tongue shall confess. Ain't nobody sitting up trying to deify Donald Trump and saying he is God or he is God's man, but we are saying that God might have his hand on this situation, such that this man who heretofore did not believe, in my opinion, is now saying that God spared my life. Oh. See, some of us come around in a moment, in a blink of an eye. Some of us come around in a few hours. Some of us come around in a few days. Some of us may take a lifetime for us to come around, but something happens in that lifetime where we say, hey, this was a circumstance that was beyond my control, a circumstance that beyond my power, beyond my money, I could not fix on my own. Must have been a higher power. Every knee shall bow. Every tongue shall confess, y'all, that Jesus Christ is Lord.
This is a 19-year-old high school graduate who has used the unfortunate nickname Big Balls online. So that would be one way that we could refer to him. He is now working at Musk's behest inside DOGE. And we looked into his background. And so we found several notable things, Aaron, one of which is that this individual has founded multiple companies, including one with another unfortunate name, Tesla.Sexy LLC, which he established in 2021. He would have been around 16 years old. Now, this LLC controls dozens of web domains. Yes, so this is a 19-year-old high school graduate who has used the unfortunate nickname Big Balls.
All right, can we go into this just a little piece? We ain't gonna dwell on it, y'all, but it was something that I bookmarked as I was going through on the X platform. So Elon has brought in some programmers, some super genius, extreme nerds that you and I probably can't even conceive. They just on such an intellectual level that is so beyond what we do. Unless you're a trained programmer, these dudes are just the nerdiest of nerds. So this guy who goes by the name Big Balls on the on the internet, sorry y'all, Big Balls. This guy, young 19-year-old, goes by the name Big Balls on the internet, has made a couple statements that people think are disqualifying, and they are trying to kick him off the Doge team. Well, based on initial reaction, seemed like Elon kind of let him go, pushed him back, pushed him to the side, but he's a brilliant intellectual mind, so Elon didn't want to do that. So I voted on a poll earlier today, this morning. Shortly after I opened my eyes, I saw a post on X from Elon that said, hey, should we bring this guy back or should we just let him go? And based on the information that I know about him, I said, no, leave him there, because even though he made some statements that might have been disparaging towards H-1B visa holders and Indian people who come to this country to work certain jobs, I think that is not disqualifying. And if y'all have followed me for some time on this platform, you have heard me say different things regarding Christianity that I feel based on what I've read in my Bible. Let me pull it out for y'all so y'all don't think that I'm just talking here. I keep it right next to me. I got dozens of these. This is just the one I keep on my desk. But there are things that are considered sinful. There are things that are considered wrong. There are things that I wouldn't advise. that even if you did them, I wouldn't think are disqualifying from the kingdom of heaven. Just as that, there are things that I look at what they are accusing big balls of. This young kid, and I think I hearken back to where I was at that age of my life, and I say, okay, I get it, bro. You're young. You said a few things on social media. Thanking God today that I wasn't raised around social media. Social media wasn't a thing when I was growing up. Had it been, I'd have been in a lot of trouble. I had a father in my life who worked to save me from myself. I had a father who hired attorneys who paid big money to save me from myself. When I became a young father, I thanked God. I got on my knees, y'all. I cried out and I blew snot before the Lord. And I said, thank you, God, that my sons are not who I once was. Because I don't know if I would have been able to have the stick-to-itiveness that my father had. Okay, that's my rant. That's my tirade. We're going to go on with it because I'm already over time. But y'all, I hope they bring big balls back because we need the smartest minds. We need the best people employed by DOGE that can go in here and eradicate government of all this waste, fraud, and abuse. I know they don't want you to even believe that it's true. They don't even want you to believe that it's real, Bernie. They want you to think that it's all media lies, and they want you to believe the lies that the actual mainstream media was telling you when they were funded by your tax dollars. Bernie, they took your money, Bernie. They took your money and funded media messages that were antithetical to the things that you and I believe. For me, y'all, that is unforgivable. Unforgivable. So here we are with these Democrat weirdos. I don't even know if I want to stop on this. The Democrat weirdos, y'all, went to the Department of Education and they said, hey, y'all trying to shut this stuff down? You're trying to shut down USAID? You're trying to shut down all these Democrat gimmies that we had in place that Donald Trump didn't catch the first time around? He thought he was going to drain the swamp. That was his mantra, drain the swamp. But the swamp was hidden from him in such a way he couldn't see it. He didn't know that it was right there hiding in plain sight. This time around, y'all, he has studied. He is focused. He has employed certain people in certain positions that can bring certain things to light. And boy, that swamp is in trouble. And they are squealing in such a way. They are screaming in such a way that I have never seen in my entire life. I admit, y'all, I admit. I'm new to a certain age group, so I'm advancing and I'm growing with my age. I'm growing mentally. I'm growing spiritually over time. But I've never seen, as long as I've been focused on politics. Let me think. I got my bachelor's degree maybe almost 20 years ago. It's been a while, okay? It's been a while. I've never seen anything like this in politics where these folks are in such an uproar that they don't know what to do. They don't know how to act. They don't know how to respond. They are going crazy. These Democrats tells me that we are over the target.
Did Elon Musk hire
We are over the target, y'all. We have discovered the very thing that we need to discover.
Are you prepared to stand here all night if we decide to stay?
I guess, yeah.
All right, well, you just stay right there. You just stay and stand.
Why are you letting us go to that desk like we were able to do last year?
No, he's not a U.S. employee.
This is a public institution.
Did Elon Musk hire you?
Who do you work for?
Who do you work for?
Are you not aware of?
Are you even who do you work for?
I'm a federal employee working for the education. Excuse me.
Are you prepared to stand here all night if we decide?
So what we are looking at, y'all, is congressmen and women, people, elected officials from Congress. Now, Maxine Waters is from here in California, and just by mentioning her name, I am at great risk because she wields a lot of power in this state. So let me be careful about how I even represent or present this. But Maxine Waters, along with other representatives from the House of Representatives and Congress, they went to the Department of Education. Why? Of all the governmental departments that you have in the federal government that have offices, that have home bases in DC, why would they go to the Department of Education? Because they know it's on the chopping block of DOGE. Bernie said Maxine Waters. No, she's doing too much. Listen, they call her Maxine, Auntie Maxine. I ain't got no aunties like this. I ain't got no aunties, however you pronounce it, wherever you from. I ain't got no aunties like this. This woman represents Southern California. This woman is a terrible representative, and it kills me, y'all, that they put all of these blackity. I've had so many people reach out to me in the last few weeks talking about, bruh, do you have to say blackity blacks? Does that really have to become a thing? Yes. Yes. Because I've had some crazy aunties, some that are still here, some that have passed on. And I ain't never had no aunties like Auntie Maxine that have gotten out here and done what this woman is doing with this melting face, with this James Brown wig. And listen, I'm going to stop right there because I've told y'all in the past that I feel like when you get to talking about people, when you get to make it ad hominem attacks, that is the worst form of argumentation. So I'm not going to even go there. But let me tell you something. I see what I see. I see what I see. And this woman is out here acting a fool. This woman is out here making threats against other people in public positions. This woman is an elected official of my home state of California. And I feel like she needs to be shut down for the foolishness that she represents. And she took it to the Department of Education. Why? Because she knows that's next on the chopping block. Ain't no secret. Donald Trump has made it clear. We want to get rid of this department. Why? Because we spend so much money on it and get so little result from the money. We spending the most money and got the worst results. Our kids are stupid. Some of y'all ain't gonna like that. Y'all don't like that language. Y'all don't like that. Some of your kids are dumb. And here's the crazy thing, y'all. When you get to weaving things together, when you get to sewing things together, and you say, an uneducated populace, an uneducated youth, with a sponsored and well-funded message, and they collide somewhere in the middle, no matter, that didn't come out right. No wonder your kids are brainwashed. No wonder your kids are misguided. Because they have spent your money to make your kids dumb. They have spent your money to make your kids stupid. And they have spent that same money on the other side to promote messages that would influence your kids in a certain way, knowing that your kids are already stupid because they paid for them to be that way with these pink and purple and blue haired teachers. And now your kid come home. You done had them in Sunday school all their life. You done had them in catechism all their life. You done had them in YPWW in Bible study all their life. And now they come home saying, hey, I don't feel like I'm comfortable in my skin. I feel like I'm somebody else. I feel like I'm trapped in somebody else's body. This thing don't fit. And here you are trying to be the best parent you can be, trying to be the best American you can be. Going to work every day, working hard, working overtime when you can get it, just to try to make ends meet, just to try to put some food on the table for that hard-head, knucklehead kid that you send to school and get infiltrated with demonic messages. What are we to do, taxpayers? What are we to do, Americans? Because you know, Rochelle, if you create a rebellion, Rochelle, they gonna knock on your door. Well, at least prior to this administration, had you done it before, you would have a whole nother situation. Maybe now, Rochelle, it might be different. But had you done it before, we were forced to remain silent. I know I remained silent on certain things on them folks' platform. I had to create certain different ways to say things so that I could still get the message out and say, well, God, I hope people understand me. I'm speaking in code. I'm speaking in coded language, but I hope they get what I'm trying to promote, what I'm trying to say. Even though I can't say it like I feel it, I hope they understand it. Because if I say it straight out, I'm going to get banned and I'm going to get blocked on these people platform. That's what it's been for the last 4 years. So, y'all, it is so refreshing to be in 2025. So let me bring my message back full circle. Let me try to land the plane for y'all. I feel so much better. I feel so much freer that I can talk to y'all in a way that I feel like y'all might understand it. Yeah. I feel like God has answered our prayer. We came together on this platform, y'all. And I needed to do it on this platform. I didn't want to be nowhere else. I wanted to be right here so I could come back and say that we stood on business here, y'all. We stood 10 toes down here, y'all. We prayed here, y'all. We beseeched God here, y'all. And he answered our prayer here, y'all. And here we are in 2025. Here we are in 2025 saying boys can be boys. Girls can be girls. Don't mess around and put your boy tail off in I posted a video the other day where this dude called himself a transformer and said he was going to get into women's wrestling, and a female kicked his man tail. I didn't post it on this platform because I wasn't too sure how it would be received. I put it somewhere else. But she beat him physically, effectively. She conquered him. And I love to see it. But I don't love to see y'all putting those little deacons where they don't belong, whether it be in women's sports or whether it be in women's situations. I'm still going to be careful. I ain't going all the way there. But when I talk to your sons, one of the things I try to get them to overcome is that little deacon. Because that's what the devil will use to throw you off track. It will ruin your life. It will set you on a trajectory that you can never recover from. I need you to be knowledgeable of self. I need you to be self-aware. And self-awareness involves controlling that little deacon. God gave it to us. I know it is a controlling factor. I understand it, y'all. I've been young. I understand. I ain't old now, so I still understand. But I need you to understand that you can conquer it, and overcoming it, being able to control it, is the greatest thing you will ever achieve as a man on this earth. You can control it at little deacon. Boy, you can control anything on earth if you can control that. Oh, I teach it, y'all. I press it upon these young boys, and I hammer it into their head. Listen, I beat it into their brain like a sledgehammer to get them to understand. If you can control that little deacon, it's being self-aware. If you can get that thing under control, you are well on the way of controlling your life, of being a better person, of being a better leader for anyone who attaches themselves to you. Rochelle Love says, little demons. Yeah, it can be a little demon. Go ask Jamal Bryant. Oh, Lord, I done said a name. Go ask him. Go research him. Go dive in. Do a little digging for yourself, and you'll find out what can happen when you let that little deacon, that little demon, Rochelle, run awry, run astray, run away with your life. Y'all, don't get too stuck in your situation that you stop believing in demonic possession. That you stop believing that people who might walk among you, who might be at your schoolhouse, who might be on your college campus, who might be on your job. Don't stop believing that these people who look like, excuse me, y'all. Don't get to the point where you believe that these people who look like you, who act like you, who walk amongst you might not be different than you. I need you to understand that even though they operate in certain spaces, and you might go to these jobs and work in these high rises and see them every day and talk it up at the coffee machine and the water fountain, these people might not be like you. They might present in a certain way and then get away from you. And you might find that these people are operating on a whole different level. They might be possessed of Satan, used of Satan, and I need you to understand that in your life. Everything's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Everything's okay. All right, now let's shut him up because that was wild. But listen, it's bad enough to do it, right? It's bad enough to have an episode. Boaz says he looks schizophrenic. Kenny Cooper says, dang, man, yeah. But these are the people who we might come across at the water fountain at work. And when they get outside the office, Deborah Metcalf, they might have a psychological break and say, I can't take it. I need to let it out. Because I've been holding it in all day just to try to maintain my job, just so I don't snap on everybody in here and go postal on this whole office. Y'all don't act like it ain't real. It's real. It is real. It's a thing. So here we are with a young man like this who seems to be having a psychological break. Thank goodness he got away from us, right? He got away from the office. He got in his car. He did his thing. Rochelle says, I pay attention to postal candidates. They everywhere, Rochelle. Yes. Soletta Gilroy says, in the past, somebody acting like this would have been put away. Yeah, bring back the rubber rooms, bring back the psych institutions, bring back the mental institutions. Because since we have closed them down, these people are left to walk the streets among us. They're doing all kinds of crazy things, stabbing people at random, pushing people on the subway tracks in New York City. You and I, Shaletta, are forced to deal with them. And sometimes we don't see them coming, which is problematic. But I thought I needed to drop that in your spirit just today to remind you, y'all, be aware. Be aware. Be aware of your surroundings. I follow a advocate in the 2A community, y'all. I got a whole lot of guns, and I'm gonna buy some more in 2025. It's just a thing. I hope that you find it in your mental space too. Take care of yourself, take care of your family, and understand that you can't just always fall back and call 911 and depend on somebody else to fix your problems. There's an old adage that says when seconds count, the police are always minutes away. And that means different things to different people, depending on where you live, depending on what your social circumstance is. But I need you to be able to take responsibility for yourself. Don't matter whether it's physical responsibility, whether it's spiritual responsibility, or don't take your heart and your mind and put it in the hands of your pastor. And put your mind and your soul in the offering plate and pass it forward. No. The same spirit that inhabits him or her, depending on where you at in your life, that spirit inhabits you. And I need you to take responsibility for you and yours and be the best you can be, so that when we come together, if you are the best you can be, and I'm the best I can be, we're going to be greater together when we come together. We're going to touch and agree and create something that we couldn't have created on our own. It's called synergy. We're greater together. But I need you to be your greatest as I work to be my greatest, so that when we come together, we are all that. So last clip I'm going to show y'all. This was these Democrats tripping, showing out at the Department of Education, because they see this as the next frontier, not the last frontier, but the next obstacle that Elon Musk and his DOGE team is going to tackle. He's already knocked down USAID. He's exposed it to all of us so that we can see. If you don't want to see it, then okay, I get that. You don't see it because you don't want to. But there's an old adage that says, none so blind as those who refuse to see. When it's put in your face, and then you say, I'm not going to pay attention to it, I'm not going to recognize it, I'm not going to acknowledge it, well, that's on you. At least it has been presented. And that's where we come back to self-awareness, because I need you to be aware of self, aware of your own understanding, and need you to dig into yourself and figure out why it is that you don't want to see the thing that is right in front of your face, the thing that has been exposed. So let's get into this last little clip, y'all, and I'm gonna let you go.
This is a public institution. This is not Russia.
Let the camera see him. Let the camera see him. This man here.
We are members of Congress.
Come in.
They're
and
blocking
I want you to
us.
see this man here, who is a federal employee. He told us.
He's not.
Are you a federal employee?
No.
Huh?
Yes.
No, he said he's a federal employee. We pay him. We raise money to make sure that we have a Department of Education. Everybody that's hired at the Department of Education are here because we pay for them to be here. He's standing here today, blocking the door, and he can't give us a good reason why he's blocking this door.
Make sure they see right here. all access entrance.
Well, and I think it should be clear to parents in the United States, if you want to advocate on behalf of your children, you are not allowed to come into this building where you pay taxes. Parents who have children who are disabled, access is being blocked. You voted for members of Congress to advocate on behalf of your children.
The administration that talked about they're going to open the doors to all of these things and show the American public what is going on. They won't even open the door to this building, to members of Congress. We are not posing any threat here. We are not dangerous people. We have not done anything. We're trying to request a meeting, and they have a private security contractor who on his own is making decisions on behalf of the Department of Education.
So Congressman Hayes, what you're saying is they allow billionaires and his minions to come in
I don't
to
know
this
who
building.
he is. I don't know who he is, but I know who I am.
allow-
And I'm a member of Congress with oversight responsibilities trying to request a meeting, and a private security contractor is not allowing me to enter the building.
They allow billionaires to go in this building, but not the people's representatives. They allow billionaires and their cronies to go in, but not. There's a lack of transparency here. The members of Congress, the people's representatives, are not allowed in. This is not transparent.
They're locking our kids out. Well, not only are they not letting us in, now they've called the Department of Homeland Security.
And there you have it, y'all. These people who have been in office throughout the Joe Biden administration, throughout the past 4 years, where they were hiding Joe Biden's dementia and incompetence. Now, all of a sudden, they want to show up. Now, all of a sudden, they want to protest. Now, all of a sudden, they want to tell you how important your children are. Yeah, those very children that they were trying to mutilate and maim, whether it be through physical means or medical, biological means, giving your kid a pill that would castrate them internally. Or physically taking a scalpel and chopping off, well, things that God put there. Can we put it that way? And if you're going to tell me in 2025 that you are authorized to chop off things that God put there, you telling me that you're greater than God. Well, I most certainly have a problem with that. If y'all have followed me for any piece of time on this platform, you know how I would feel about something like that, where you say, hey, you and your fallible human state are greater than God. Not only are you greater than God, but you are greater than the parents of this child. Y'all, I live in California. They have passed legislation that if your child is transforming in the schoolhouse, see, you send your child, you pack a lunch for your child, you get them dressed, you get them going, you get them ready to go, you send them out the house every day. You call him Billy. And Billy get to the schoolhouse, and some teacher, some purple-haired teacher with a rainbow flag in the classroom tells Billy that his new name is Madeline and convinces Billy that he should be Madeline. In this state, y'all, they have passed legislation. The governor has signed it, that any Newsom governor who should never be allowed to be president of the United States, that governor that President Trump is about to smack down this year, and I can't wait for it, that governor signed a law that said it is illegal for the school to even tell you if your child is transitioning down at the schoolhouse. If your child wants to cut certain things off down at the schoolhouse, it is now a crime if they even report it to you. Can you imagine a parent that saw that happening? I'm sorry, a teacher who saw that happening, who wanted to report it for you, wanted to report it to you, felt a certain way about it because they might have kids of their own, felt sympathetic, felt empathetic, and said, hey, I know how you might feel in this situation. Let me go ahead and share this information. No, it's a crime. You will go to jail in this state. And y'all wonder why we want a president like Donald Trump. And y'all wonder why we want an administration like Trump 2.0. Y'all wonder why we want Kash Patel to get in there and wreck shop at the FBI. Y'all wonder why we praising God for Pam Bondi at the DOJ. We have reason to feel a certain kind of way. I hope y'all feel a certain kind of way. No matter what state you might live in, no matter where you might live in this country. I went to grad school in the Midwest. I know what it is to live outside of California. I've felt it. I've understood it. I know what it means. But at least in California, I ain't standing outside in negative 10 degrees. I also know what that means. I also know what that feels like. And praise God. For the years that I lived out there in the Midwest, hey, maybe thank goodness for the Timberlands or whatever it was, but I never slipped, I never fell, I never hit the concrete on that ice in negative degrees. Thank God for California weather. But aside from the weather, I can't think of too many reasons to stay here other than the fact that my grandkids are here. It's one thing me and my wife can agree on. We don't want to leave the grands because, well, I grew up with a big mama. I had 3 grandmamas in my life. I ain't even going to explain to you how that happened. It was a weird situation. But listen, them little babies deserve a big mama's house. Them little babies deserve a big mama's love. If you got some grandkids in your life, listen. Don't you hold back. You make amends with whoever you got to make amends with to be in them grandkids' life because they need a grandmama and a grandfather. Do what you got to do. Even if it means that you got to live in an area that you despise. If you got to pay more taxes, boy, them grandkids get expenses when you look at the taxes and look at everything that you pay in grocery stores and gas and everything else. Say, boy, I could be living so much better if I lived over yonder. That ain't the way God planned it. God got to work for you right here. I hope you embrace it. I hope you do good by them kids. Not just the grands. Don't skip a generation. If you got some wayward kids, go make amends with them. They might be locked up. Do what you got to do. Because we only go around this way once. If you believe like I believe, some people say, hey, YOLO, you only live once. No, that's not true. I don't believe that. You only live twice. You die once. Some of y'all will get that in the morning, but I'm going to leave it right there and I'm going to land this plane. I appreciate each and every one of y'all rocking out with me this afternoon. I didn't even expect to be on this long. And there were some things that I didn't even get to cover that I thought I was going to get to, but I wanted you to understand what is going on in your government at this time. Because in Trump 2.0, my goodness, it is like trying to drink out of a fire hose, y'all. Just trying to keep up with everything that is going on here. But I need you to keep up. Because I need you to be aware. I need you to be alert. And I need you to be ready to move at the drop of a dime, depending on what happens with this governmental situation. Things are changing and they're changing rapidly. Thank you, Deborah Metcalf. Thank you, Rochelle. Stephen Black Music says, you only die once. Yodo. You only die once, but I live to live again. Hope y'all understand what I'm trying to say here. I hope y'all picking up what I'm putting down here. I've been on longer than I thought I was going to be on today, and I didn't even get to the clips that I thought I was going to get to, but I hope you understand what I'm trying to present. I'm going to take a few days off so I can catch up on some things that I'm behind on. Yo, I need to catch up. I need to get where I need to be. I need to be more efficient. At some point, I'm going to bring in a team and we're going to rock out. We're going to push forward in a hard way. But I got to get some things done over this weekend. So don't be surprised if I don't release another video this weekend. We're going to see what it do. We're going to see how it go. We're going to see how God blesses this situation. Because if he tell me to release it, I'm going to release it. That's just what it's going to be. So I'm okay with that. I appreciate each and every one of you rocking out with me today. I appreciate y'all who have stood in, y'all who have supported the channel, like Susan Harris, who has sponsored the stream. I appreciate y'all rocking out. And I just need you to know, I got a lot of work to do. And I'm going to get on it. As soon as I get off here, y'all, I'm going to get on it. I'm going to be about it because I got obligations that I want to fulfill. I don't want to let nobody down on this platform or any other. Y'all, I love you. I appreciate you. Pray for your government. Pray for your president. Pray for the administration. And pray for your boy. And I'll see you on the next one.